A great career, market center specifics. Next slide. All right, so y'all have seen this all the way from the beginning, what successful agents do every day to grow your business, to lead generate for buyers and sellers, make seller listing presentations and get listings, make buyer presentations and get listings, and preview real estate. That is growing your business. To run your business, which a lot of y'all coming from different fields in your life kind of knows how this works, and it can parlay into your past experience in a way. You can do an analogy, and you would market seller listings, show buyer houses, negotiate contracts, transaction management to closing, vendor management, set goals, compliance risk management, that's my forte, attend training and get coaching, and manage money. And we all have to manage money, right? Even in our personal to run our household. So next. Next. Okay, so this is going to be kind of like an open forum day of everything that we've discussed from beginning to the end. And we're going to go through everyone that's on the call and go through these. So who would like to go first? And these are the questions I'm going to ask you right on the screen. How has your thinking changed? What ideas or mindsets were new? So we're going to start with just that one. And everybody's going to speak today because this is our graduation day. George, would you like to be first? And how has your thinking changed? And what ideas or mindsets were new to you?
For me, I mean, I guess starting with what's new to me is the available tools that Keller & Williams provides for the agent to make you successful. It helped me be better prepared for a new career, a new avenue, and give me an opportunity to start on a stronger foundation than I would have thought.
That's awesome. How about you, Riley?
This course has definitely taught me how important it is to be structured and to plan out your day. Definitely been kind of going through a little bit of those problems right now, and then thinking back to the training of like how important that was and how much it was stressed, and to just lay out your day. That's definitely a big thing that I'm taking away from this.
Okay. Hannah.
Really how to set a long-term goal and how to set like points in time where I want to reach a small section of a large goal that I want to achieve over a long period of time.
Okay. Paul.
Well, I think just the approach, business approach to real estate is what I picked up or gleaned from this course, and how to rely on your systems or your database to help you achieve your goals. So getting my database developed is my main focus right now.
Okay. So, Paul, while you're still on, what do you feel different about in your first mindset? Like, think of your mindset of getting into this business and how your business has parlayed to today. What do you feel different about from what you thought it would be versus what it really is?
Well, it's it's development of relationships and it's more of a personal relationship development business than it is more of a just buying and selling. So
Right. I 100% agree on that. I mean, especially that I can think of is, you're building clientele for life. If you follow the models and systems and do your touches, it's just not a transaction. You facilitate that relationship to future business with the same person, whether it be them, their family, their friends, who they know, if you follow the models and systems.
right.
Okay, Hannah, same question. What do you feel differently about than your first mindset of getting into the business?
The amount of small details that it really takes to stick out in somebody's mind, and like the amount of time that can and go into like to make a small deal, small like little gift look really, really cute to make an impression. And also the importance behind that as well.
Okay. Riley, same question. What do you feel differently about?
I don't really feel differently about anything.
Okay. George?
Let me unmute myself here. Differently, I think for me, it's understanding that there's more to it than what I originally understood. The ability and breadth of what you can do and what's available to you, and the resources and the people, it's exciting. It's exciting.
Awesome. Okay, so the next question is, how will your behaviors be different going forward? What actions will you take going forward? So it sounds like just in the previous question, a lot of y'all just discussed what behaviors, kind of already discussed that, but knowing how your behaviors will change a little bit, Riley, I'm going to call on you first. What actions will you take going forward? From based off all your Ignite sessions you learned, what actions are you going to take on a, I guess, daily basis, weekly basis, moving forward?
Well, I'm definitely gonna practice scripts more than I have been, and I'm gonna make like some type of schedule where Monday through Friday or Tuesday through Saturday, something like that, that works with my wife's work schedule, where I actually have some structure to what I'm doing and a game plan, instead of kind of just winging it. Yeah, that's what I would do different.
I love that. How about you, Hannah?
I'm definitely gonna take the time to make sure to reach out and contact people, especially new people I meet, and do everything I can to get them in my database a little bit more than I was doing before, kind of try and structure that action.
Okay. Paul?
Well, I'm going to try to block out some time and do some prospecting at least daily, so I can begin to get my database, my database filled.
How about you, George?
Definitely the structure around making sure I calendar and time block and make sure I use time more efficiently than ad hoc, I guess would be a best way to describe it. Making sure I follow some kind of controlled process.
Okay, so I wanna, you all just basically said the same thing. And, you know, how easy is it if, you know, we all have a calendar, right? I mean, when we go to book a doctor's appointment, what's the first thing we do? We're standing there in the office. Hey, George, you're gonna have to come back. What's the first thing you do? You pull out your phone, you look at your calendar, because you have to make that appointment, right? So how great would it be is of everything y'all just said, you put in your calendar, whether it be, you don't want to do what I call agent burnout, but I know a lot of people on Teams on Monday through Friday from 9 to 11, they do nothing but call. I mean, that's what they do. For me, I cannot, call me ADHD. I cannot for 2 straight hours, Monday through Friday, ever do that. Okay. But I can certainly commit to maybe Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I'm going to book an appointment 9 to 10 where I'm going to be. And that's all I'm going to do is call. So it's now you have a plan, you have a schedule, and you work everything around that schedule. Because guys, I'm telling you, if it's not on my calendar, I don't do it. I'm just being completely honest with you guys. If it's not on my calendar, I don't do it. I woke up this morning, or super early. I did some devotionals. I was playing with my dog because I was gone this weekend. And then I'm in the shower and I'm like, oh my gosh, I have an 8 o'clock coffee in Forest. There's no way I'm going to make it because it's an hour to get here. I literally grabbed my phone and texted the guy, and we reschedule. And I realized it was tomorrow. I was so embarrassed. I didn't even look at my calendar first. So I'm rescheduling something that wasn't even till tomorrow, which I can certainly do tomorrow. But now that I know it's tomorrow, so don't be an Alice. Don't be an Alice. And always look the day before of what your calendar looks like. So mindset in your head, you don't look like a dummy and do what I did this morning and cancel something that wasn't even today. But calendars are your tools. And if you're anything like me, if I don't have the structure, I'm not going to do it. If it's not on my calendar, I'm not going to do it. So one of my things for you guys is put it in your calendar. Riley had mentioned scripts. Let's say we want to remember that one at night where I said grab an accountability partner. I don't care if it's your mother in Florida, if it's your best friend in Utah. I'm naming these people because this would be me. And you want to just practice. I am an accountability partner, just for you to know. I've never shared this with you, but there's a girl that works for LGI Homes in Midlothian, Virginia. She's a dear friend of mine, but I'm her accountability partner. And she calls me once a week. It's in her calendar. And she role plays they have systems and models like Keller Williams. And she uses me like I'm a client. But I do that so I can give her some constructive feedback, as if I was a person walking in the door. Did I feel like she was a robot? Do I feel like she was genuine? But That's what I'm saying, guys. It doesn't even have to be anybody in the business. It could be a buddy that you smoke cigars with. I don't care, but put it in your calendar. And just go to them and say, I trust you so much to be my accountability partner to help me practice my scripts so I can be better in my real estate business. They're gonna say yes because they're your buddy. So that was kind of for you, Riley. You said you wanted to work on scripts. What better way to work on scripts is building a relationship with somebody you already trust.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So part of graduation is actually doing this live. So who would like to just go through their book, and I don't care what subject it is. It could be a buyer script. It could be a seller script. Pick one of us. It could be Paul, Hannah, Riley, me, or George. Just pick somebody when it's your turn and say, I'm the agent, you're the client, or you're the customer, if they're not a client yet. And practice, and every one of us is going to do this, and practice a script that you feel like you would love to polish on. Who'd like to go first? You know, I have an hourglass on the desk over here. I can turn it upside down. Who'd like to go first? Come on, Riley, you can do it.
Why you call me? The pressure.
Because you're the person who said the word scripts.
I barely looked at them though.
Well, do you have your materials in front of you?
I do. I'm looking at the scripts for working with buyers right now because I've been working with 3 buyers, so I've been, I guess, practicing that.
And so a lot of people, while he's looking, I can't look at a script and read it verbatim for me, because people who really know me, they know I'm reading a script. So what I do is I look at the script, I pull out some bullet points, and I have the bullet points like on an index card, so I kind of don't forget my subject material, or I can go out on a conversation that goes totally off topic. So I look at those 3 or 4 very important bullet points, and then I just go and then just glance down at it and like, okay, now I'm going to put that into my conversation. So I've kind of winged my own scripts, but looked at scripts so I know to stay on task, if that makes sense.
Yeah, because I've noticed that it's not about like reading it word for word specifically or like memorizing like that. It's like there's a general underlying reason why the script is the way that it is. And if you understand that, then you can kind of put your own twist on it.
Exactly. So who's going to be your customer or buyer?
I guess George.
All right, George, you're going to have to come off mute while he does this.
So I'm looking at the handling objections to exclusivity.
Okay.
Okay.
I ran into this problem in the past. The first person that I dealt with, Nanette referred me to them, and they didn't want to work with a buyer's agent. They thought that they would be paying the buyer's commission. So I guess, so you want me to pick whether I'm going to be the buyer or the
No,
buyer?
you're going to be the agent. When you're practicing scripts, you're going to be the agent.
Okay, so in this situation, I got the referral and I was going to show them a property. So yeah, okay. So I meet you, George. I meet you at the property. Hey, how are you doing, George?
I'm well. How are you today?
I'm all right. Are you excited to take a look at this house?
Absolutely.
Awesome. Then I'll show you around towards the end of it, of the showing. What's the name of the realtor that you're working with right now?
John Smith.
Oh, you are working with the realtor.
Well, I've started talking with him. I haven't committed to anything.
Gotcha. Okay. Is there any reason why he didn't show you this property?
We just hadn't had a chance to touch base on it.
Okay, makes sense. Well, have you considered interviewing other realtors in the area?
I have. I'm a little hesitant, unsure of what my commitment would be.
Okay, well, usually we would have you sign an exclusive right to represent. And what that does is it protects you, it protects the agent representing you. When you enter into a contract like that, the realtor that you sign with basically owes you fiduciary duties, and they're legally obligated to represent your best interests. It's not about money at that point, it's about the relationship. And that's why I try to have my client sign this before we go and show property, although I'm happy to show you this property today.
What does signing this commit me to? Or is it locking me into anything, contract, or is it just?
Well, it depends on how we write the contract. The contract can be written for a specific property if you wanted to put an offer on it, or it can be written so that I can be a realtor and show you homes for 3 months, and it doesn't matter which home it is. And that way I get to know you more and we get to narrow down what exactly you're looking for in a house. And, we can build that relationship that'll find you the perfect dream home.
All right. Can I, how many of these do you do? I mean, is it with every one of your clients, or is it?
Yeah, so generally before I even show property, and this is a special circumstance today, but before I show property, I have them sign this just to protect my time and to protect your best interest as well. And if you'd like to sit down and do a buyer's consultation, and just have a meeting, or you can interview me about my experience and the types of people that I've worked with, the contracts that I've closed on, and the times that I've helped people buy homes, then I'd be happy to do that.
Okay, I think I can commit to this. And what is the time frame for the agreement?
I would generally like to put 3 to 4 months on the agreement, just because usually closings can be a month to 2 months out, just depending on the market. And that just protects the time that it would take to find a home and then put the offer in and actually get to closing with it.
Okay, I think that'll work.
Okay, awesome.
Riley, that was wonderful.
Yeah, I didn't see any problems at all. I thought he was very.
I am sitting here almost like a mom proud of their children moment. You did such a beautiful job. It, to me, and y'all know I've been in this business for 17 years. You sounded like you've been an agent for a very long time. I was very impressed. Wow.
The first person that I dealt with, though, I talked to them like that, but I was like brand new as the first person I interacted with, and they just couldn't understand. They couldn't grasp that they don't pay the buyer's commission.
Okay, so I can help you with that. That's why we're doing this. So you go down to the middle of the agreement and you check the box that says, I will be paid upon what the listing company has displayed to pay, okay? And you check that box, all right? Then, if they're still hesitant, say, here's the beauty of this agreement, because I can see you're unsure, but I have a duty also to the seller's agent that you are being represented to see this home. So let's expire this for today. I'm going to put this property because we don't have any other showings today. I'm going to make it for this only, and I'm going to expire it at midnight tonight. Should you decide that you want to write an offer, we're going to have to go back to this buyer agreement and do an extension. Then they don't feel scared because it expires that day.
That makes a lot of sense. Okay. Yeah. Cause it's the length of time, like the 3 months, even with my buyer that I'm doing a closing with, like she was apprehensive about, because I put it through November and she was like, why are we doing it through November? And I had to explain everything. And, we ended up showing 20 homes and she understood it then, but.
Exactly. But in that, when you're in a situation where they are just petrified for the length of time agreement, it's just because they haven't earned your trust yet. That's all it is. And they just have lack of knowledge and education about what it is and what you're truly doing for them. So expire it for the day, build that rapport, and then at the very last showing, you circle back to it and say, do you feel now that I have represented you in your best interest today that we can work together on future showings? Absolutely.
That
And
makes
they,
sense.
at that point, they don't care if you do it for 6 months, but they're hesitant because they don't know you yet.
Right.
So it works fabulously. I have never, ever, ever had anybody not sign it when I expired it that day.
Okay.
And I just knew I had to work on building their trust throughout that day. And honestly, Riley, I hate saying this because it sounds so completely negative, but how can we make this a win-win in the WI4C2Ts? What if, not sounding selfish, even though it's very selfish remark, what if you cannot stand that relationship that day and they were awful to work with and they were negative and you just knew in your heart and in your soul, this is going to be an ever living nightmare to work with this person? Well, guess what? You only have a responsibility for them that day. And maybe you don't want to ask for an extension.
Right.
So, we're all about win-win at Keller Williams. So it can work both directions. But of course, you're never going to say that to them. So just keep that in mind.
Makes sense.
Okay, so who else has a script? Maybe with a listing script that they would like to do, kind of like Riley just did. And Riley, again, Riley and George, you made a great buyer too, because most buyers would have came up with those objections. So that was awesome. So who is next? Don't be shy. There's not a lot of people on here.
Alice, I don't have my book with me, and I was
Okay.
looking KW for the scripts. Is there a particular place on our KW stuff that it might find the scripts?
It will be in KW Connect
Gotcha. That's where I thought.
under trying to think. Yeah, because they're all in back of that book that we gave y'all, that book material. Do you want to wing a script, George?
Sure. Let me wing one about new agent. Concerned with working with a new agent with little experience.
Okay. Who do you want to be your buyer?
I guess Paul, if he's on.
All right, Paul, you're gonna be a buyer, or is he a seller? George, what is he?
He's gonna be a seller.
Okay, Paul, you have a house. You're looking for a listing agent, and George is there for the interview.
Okay,
Paul, good morning.
good morning.
Thank you for taking the time to speak with me. I appreciate it. I'd love to talk to you more about possibly listing your home with Keller and Williams.
Okay,
And showing you what we can do with Keller and Williams as an agent and as an organization.
right.
We have well, I'm going to be very bad at this. I'm sorry. Winging it's a little tougher. We have a well-documented, well-defined process for working with a new seller and getting your home to market and getting it sold. What kind of questions can I answer for you related to our process, or what skills we bring to the table?
Well, yeah, tell me a little bit about your experience.
Well, I'm a fairly new agent. I'm in the market as a new realtor for approximately a year. Not had a whole lot of success getting out in the market, but I am working with Keller and Williams, who has a strong, well-defined portfolio of agents, resources, and skills that can help ensure that we get your home listed, marketed, and sold. What kind of questions do you have around what we would do when we're selling your home?
Well, what kind of plan do you propose?
Well, we'd like to talk about what your expectations are. Why are you looking to sell your home?
Well, I have to move. I'm going to relocate to Florida.
Is that something we could also help you with in your relocation? Maybe having a Keller and Williams agent in Florida help you find a place while you're selling your home here, as well as trying to find one in Florida?
Well, yes, that would be helpful.
Absolutely. I can definitely connect you with an agent in our Florida area. What part of Florida will you be moving to?
Let's see. It's going to be around the Tampa area.
Okay, well, I will definitely get a resource to be in touch. Let's talk about selling your home here in Virginia. What kind of time frame are you looking for?
Well, I need to have it sold by spring, next spring.
Okay. Have you ever considered selling your house before?
Well, no, I haven't really, I haven't really been contemplating moving, that for very long. I just kind of, decided here lately. So yeah.
Well, I'd like to offer you our pre-sales information that I've pulled together on your home, so that you can kind of have an idea of what we're going to provide as far as marketing information, sales information related to your property. There's a lot of good information in this package, and I'd like to leave it with you and have take an opportunity to take a look at it, ask some questions, and give me a chance to work with you and develop a relationship and show you the value of working with Keller Williams.
Okay.
Is there anything particular that you're looking to do as far as selling the home? Do you want to have any particular structure around open houses or marketability, or is there?
Well, I'm sure there's some things we can do to, improve the curb appeal. So I probably, started on some of those, but we can, I can take a look at some of your suggestions and see what you might want to recommend. So
Absolutely. Our package has some information in there about prepping your home and preparing for taking it to market. I'm more than excited to help you with this journey and taking the opportunity to work with you and selling your home. I'd like to talk to you about a listing agreement and any questions you would have around that. If we could maybe have a conversation about your concerns with the listing agreement.
well, yeah, I would be interested in, listening to your proposal. When could we get together?
Absolutely. Well, let's set some time on our calendars, see what works best for you. And I would love to come out and meet with you in person. Maybe we could have a cup of coffee and sit down and have some more open dialogue about what you're looking for, both in selling your home and working with an agent.
Okay,
All right. I look forward to having the conversation, and let's put some time on calendars.
okay, sounds good.
All right, Paul, I appreciate your time this morning. I look forward to speaking with you more in depth.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, love it, but I noticed two things. I'm gonna go backwards. Make sure you actually put that time on the calendar before you hang up. So get
Oh,
the
yeah.
appointment.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
get it. I mean,
Absolutely.
I will see you next Thursday at 9 o'clock. I mean, make sure you get the appointment.
Get the
So
appointment. Okay.
the other thing, George, and I've trained this with new agents in 3 different companies I've worked for. You never have to say you're a new agent,
Ah,
ever.
okay.
You just don't need to say it unless you're really stuck. And he says, how long have you been in the business?
Mhm.
You have been in many different other businesses that are sales related.
Right.
So I would always say, real estate, I have been at Keller Williams only a year, but it parlays into all of my experience as an auctioneer. And this is what I do. I have negotiated contracts for 15 years. I mean, parlay what you have done in your past that you still need to do as an agent, because
Gotcha.
George, at the end of the day, that's experience,
Right. Okay.
right? So that's the only thing that I noticed that you really didn't need to say,
Okay.
or you could have twisted it in how you responded.
Okay.
The other thing is, what has worked for me well is getting the listing appointment. I like to say to somebody who I do not know, and say I just got a lead, whether it be, a friend said, hey, will you call my neighbor? They're looking to sell their house. And I'm like, hi, I'm Alice with Keller Williams. I got your name from Tom Smith on your street. He said that you were looking at selling in the near future. I would love the opportunity to share with you what I can do for you and Keller Williams could do for you to get your home sold. It's really, really hard for me to throw out a number without seeing your home, because how do I know what you've done on the inside? How do I know what additions or upgrades that you have done? So in all fairness to you and to get your top dollar, when can I come over and see your home for further discussion? I always get the appointment, never not got the appointment. But when I get there, I like to tell them, let's start outside. Be with me for a minute here. I'm kind of a different realtor and I do things a little differently. And you're going to find that it's quite interesting. So it's a little game I play, but it's for your benefit. And I pull them out on that front threshold or that front porch. And I say, and I look at them face to face and say, listen, we are about to walk into this house. It is not a home to you anymore. It is a house. And I said, I need you to put the buyer glasses on, what a buyer would see. And I'm actually going to show you this house how I would if I was your buyer agent. So can you do that for me and play this game? We're like, okay. So we walk in and I start showing their home as a buyer that's seeing it for the first time and it's now a house. Why do I switch that mindset up? Why am I doing that? Anybody answer?
It's trying to separate the attachment.
Exactly, exactly. And then what are they going to do when we're walking through the house?
They're going to point out the things that they like, that are going to give you some ideas of what makes them, what makes the house important to them. So when you're trying to sell it, that you can kind of lean on some of those ideas.
Okay, and what else is it going to do? Is it going to show them, is this house ready to list today? They are going to go, oh my God, I didn't realize I had 42 pictures of my grandchildren on the wall. That I need to depersonalize a little bit. I mean, now their mind has shifted into what buyers are going to see instead of them seeing it every single day that they live there. I have shifted their mindset, what buyers are looking at. And it helps me be gentle in my presentation when we sit back at that kitchen table and I go, well, Mr. Buyer, what did you like and dislike about this house? What would you do differently if you were selling it? They're forgetting they own the house. I have completely shifted their mindset that it's their home. They're like, well, it's cluttered. It needs decluttered. Well, let's put that on the list. Easy, easy peasy, lemon squeezy. There's storage unit right up the street if you don't have an area in the basement or whatever. What's next you saw? So they are now telling me all the things they need to do to get their house ready instead of me hurting their feelings because their house isn't ready. It works really well for sellers. And now they don't want to do this again with another listing agent because what have I done? I've started to build what? The relationship. So a little trick I started doing back in 2005, and it worked really, really well in my business. And I started in 04. By the time DPOR got my paperwork back to me, January 4th of 2005 was the day I had my real estate license number, even though I took the test and everything in 04. But you know how DPOR is slow. But anyway, it just, and it's kind of fun. It's kind of fun watching the seller be the buyer in their own home. It's kind of fun to watch. So that was good. How about a script on trying to think, what's another script, Riley, that we haven't done? We've done a seller.
You could do it for sale by owner, like a cold call.
All right, who would like to do that? They're calling it for sale by owner. Anybody want to take a crack at it? Do y'all want me to do it?
Sure.
I was hoping you say no. Okay. All right. God, I haven't done a for sale by owner in a long time, so this is winging it, and I don't have a script in front of me. So, let's see, Hannah, you're going to be my for sale by owner, okay?
Okay.
All right. Ring, ring, ring.
Hello,
Hello, I'm looking for Hannah Chartreux.
this is me.
Oh, hi, Anna. My name is Alice Limroth, and I'm with Keller Williams. I know, before you even say anything, you've probably heard from 300 realtors. I know that's a little bit of exaggeration, but am I right?
Just a little bit.
So I'm actually calling because I have dealt with many for sale by owners in the past. And I would just like to share a couple of things. I have actually written a for sale by owner book, and I would like to stop by. And if anything, just meet you face to face and bring this material to you. It will help facilitate you in selling this house and how much paperwork is really needed and steps that you need to take so nothing's missing when you get all the way to closing. How does that sound?
That sounds good. It's been a little bit of time on the market and it's not been a lot of attention on it.
So why do you think that is?
The drive to the location isn't the best road. It's kind of filled with potholes and there's an easement on it that it's not easy to repave because you have to get everybody on the street to contribute in.
Oh, so you have a road maintenance agreement.
Yes.
Okay, so Hannah, I have done many of those too. Please know when you go to sell that you will need that road maintenance agreement for that buyer to be able to close. Because if they're getting a loan, and it doesn't even matter if it's conventional, FHA, VHDA, USDA, or VA. I know I'm probably talking a little over your head. All of those loans require a road maintenance agreement for you to be able to close. And even if they're paying cash, Hannah, the closing attorney is going to need that road maintenance agreement because it actually conveys into the deed. Did you know that?
I did. We have a small one, but it's not very, it's not set up in a way to hold them to it pretty easily. But it's a one-page signature of everybody on the street.
Interesting. I have some people that can review that on your behalf. Why don't we just set up an appointment, Hannah? Let me bring by the book. Let me see, give you some tips if you want to continue trying to sell it on your own, or maybe without me seeing it, maybe there's enough value there that I can just take this whole headache off your hands and facilitate the whole transaction for you and get it to closing so you can be on your way.
I would definitely love to have a conversation about what all that would entail.
Okay, what does this afternoon look like? I actually have some openings.
This afternoon works great.
All right, how about I come back 4 o'clock?
That sounds perfect.
All right, I am so looking forward to meeting you, Hannah, and I will see you at 4.
I'll see you then. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Okay, that was my winging it.
If every for sale by owner went like that, I'd be a rich man.
Hannah was a little easy on me. But, you know, they don't know what they don't know, right? A for sale by owner has no idea the headache that they are about to do. I mean, they don't know that they need in the Commonwealth of Virginia a residential disclaimer. I mean, there's just so much that they need. I have even helped a for sale by owner by taking over that form and telling them they need this. If they're working with, you know, to get this closing, or if the buyer has any wherewithal that they can walk up all the way up until the day of closing if they did not sign it. And so it will protect them. And when they're like, oh my God, she's helping me, and she hasn't even asked to be my listing agent. And then they realize, you know, maybe I do need somebody to help me in this transaction. So go over there with the mindset that you're just helping them. Okay, let's do another one. What script would you like to do with Hannah being the
You
The
know,
buyer
I'll
or
have
the
to
seller?
take off today. I don't have my scripts.
Okay. Hannah, would you like to do one to Riley?
Sure.
Okay,
I'll do one about pre-approval.
perfect. All right, Riley, come off mute.
I'm here.
Okay,
So this would be before the buyer agreement part, because I had a interaction similar to that recently.
Okay.
Let's see. So I know you're a little hesitant to sign a buyer agreement because of how fast houses are coming off the market. Let me explain to you the benefits of pre-approval and how I can help you walk you through how to set yourself up to buy a home in a faster paced way. And then you'll feel a little bit more comfortable before we start looking at houses and sit down with the full agreement.
Okay.
When you get pre-approved for a loan, it cuts out a lot of the inventory stock that is similar to what you're looking for, but is just outside of your price range. And you know, before you go through, sit down, have an offer, take your time out of your day to go look at the property and to find out you love it. And then turns out that you can't buy it per your lender.
Okay, that makes sense.
Have you looked at any lenders recently?
No, I haven't. I know that I have pretty good credit, and I've Googled a lot of things, and so I know what my monthly payment can be. So I know what house I can afford.
That sounds great. I have a list of mortgage lenders that I can send you so you could go through and figure out which ones you would prefer to work with, if that sounds good.
Okay, which ones do you currently work with? What would you recommend?
We have one in-house with Keller Williams that's an affiliated business, and the contact on that, his name is TJ, and he is amazing with it. So we would normally recommend him because he also knows the KW systems pretty well, and it's easy to get into contact with. And he's really, really good with walking people through things. But you don't have to go with our recommendation as well. You could go with whoever you decide is your best fit.
Yeah, because ultimately I would want to get the best interest rate, so I would have to shop around for lenders. Do you have any other ones that you might recommend?
Yes, I have about 6 to 10-ish on a vendor list that all of the KW agents contributed their best or their top lenders that they work with. If you give me just 1 second, I can go ahead and pull you up and give you some names right now on the phone.
Yeah, that'd be great. Or you can just send me that vendor list, and then I can just go through and shop around and whatnot.
That works perfectly. Can I take your email down and I can send you that over, and maybe even a list of a couple benefits for pre-approval?
Sure. It's riley.hall@kw.com.
Awesome. I definitely will send you this as soon as we are finished with this call, and I have it formatted so it is all the information you need and nothing extra.
Okay, and once I get pre-approved, what do I need to do?
We would sit down, go over a buyer agreement, and then we would talk over what you're looking for in a house, how many bedrooms, how many bathrooms, the size of the house, the size of the plot of land, location wise, and then we'll start going through MLS listings and trying to get appointments to view the houses.
Okay, and when I select a lender, do I need to give you their contact information, or?
It would be preferable so I can get into contact with them as well. And it just makes it easier across the board to have all of us into contact sometimes. That way, any objections or small bumps in the road can be smoothed out pretty fast.
Okay, makes sense. Well, I guess I'll update you once I get pre-approved.
That sounds great.
okay, that's great. But absolutely, because you need that pre-approval letter to present at the offer stage. So absolutely, you would need to know that relationship and that letter, having that in hand. Also, when I'm discussing pre-approval, I do a little reminder of, let me tell you a story. These are a few things you do not do when you're buying a house. You do not open any new credit cards. You do not go buy a car. You do not go purchase furniture. No big major purchases over $100, and I'm quite serious about that. You don't want to do anything to tarnish your credit. And here's my story. Young couple, first-time home buyer, perfectly qualified, 1 week away from closing. They went to a furniture store to buy all this furniture for their house. Signed a contract to finance it over 2 years. Underwriting did one more pull of their credit before funding the loan the following week. 2 days before walkthrough, the lender calls me. Alice, your people no longer qualify. What? We close in 2 days. They purchased $10,000 of furniture on a finance plan over 2 years, and the ratios are out. But people did not get that house.
Yeah, some of the ratios, like I've been talking with one of the lenders I'm working with, the ratios are like crazy strict for some of these loans. Like the STAR program through Atlantic is like 33% of your income. And if you hit 33.1, you don't qualify.
So that's, I mean, we have a big role, right? I mean, it's educate, 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 educate. And the longer you're in the business, my gosh, I feel like I'm a college professor when I get a client, because I really want them to know all these things, especially first-time home buyers. They just don't know better. They didn't realize that was going to debacle their entire loan. And shame on the loan officer for forgetting to tell them that, right? But shame on me for not mentioning it. So just know, I mean, God, I'm still learning. I'm still learning well and septic changes. And I mean, it's like a rolling change to be in. I think that's why we're always doing CE credits, because we have rolling changes as a realtor, as a broker. But all right, Shalaya, what's our next slide? We kind of did a lot of scripts. Update contacts and follow up. Okay, so this is really interesting because I watched a team do it upstairs in our facility, and I like walking around and kind of seeing and listening to what others are doing, because believe it or not, it motivates me. And a lot of times we're like, oh my gosh, I have put in my calendar an hour to make calls. And I just don't feel like cold calling today. But I don't mind making calls. It's in my calendar. So this is a good one. You pull out your phone and you just start at the A or start at the Z and go backwards. I don't care where you start. If you want to start at the F's, I don't care. But start somewhere in your phone so you remember where you started, and say, Frank, I'm going to say Frank Hughes. He's a realtor down in Williamsburg. I haven't talked to him in years. Hey, Frank, this is Alice. I know I haven't talked to you in ages. How are you doing? He says, good. Well, what made you call me today? Well, believe it or not, I've got so many contacts in my phone and I'm going through and updating information. Obviously, I have your same number and you haven't changed numbers or wouldn't have been able to reach you. But are you still working at Berkshire Hathaway? You are? That is awesome. Do you know I live at Smith Mountain Lake now? No, I did not know that. Well, I do. Are you on Facebook? Because I'd love to invite you as a friend. I post some beautiful sunsets every once in a while, but I'm at Keller Williams and obviously you didn't even know that. No, I didn't. So I want you to update my contact while we're on the phone and I'm gonna make sure I've got your right email address. And I'm gonna send you a text after we get this call. But Frank, you have anybody, if you're ever coming up to the lake on vacation, or if you need any tips, or you have any buyers or sellers looking in this direction, you know, I still pay good referrals, buddy. What have I just done? I've updated my contact. I'm going to put them in my database because I want Frank, that's been in the business 36 years, if not 40, to go, oh my gosh, I have an agent at Smith Mountain Lake. And was that a warm lead or not? He was already in my phone. So guys, I encourage y'all, this is free money. And it's not a cold call, it's a warm call. And you can turn those warm calls into hot leads and to build your database. I don't care where they are, it doesn't matter. George just proved to Paul that he can facilitate him with an agent in the Tampa area of Florida. And if Paul buys with that Tampa agent in Florida, well, Paul's a realtor, but let's say he wasn't, is George going to get a referral? All he did was set him up with an agent. He's going to get 25% of whatever Paul buys, 25% of the sales commission. So lots of ways in this business to make money. So don't forget about it. But that's what updates contacts is all about. We don't need to do this for 30 minutes. I don't know why 30 minutes. I just did it in 2 minutes. But anyway, and then follow up with them. It was so nice catching up today, sending them an email and a text. Follow up with that update contact. You're now in their head. Put them on a rolling once a month high. Even if it's an email or thinking about you today. You know anybody coming up to the lake? I'd love to take them out for coffee. All right, next slide. We can't really do that by Zoom, contract practice. But now that that's on the screen, what contract questions has any of y'all run into that I can help you with? All right, so first off, in your life moving forward, please do never say this. And Riley, I can tell you, listen to me, because in your script, you didn't say, are you working with a realtor to George? You followed my lead and said, what's the name of the agent you're working with? I loved that. That's how I could tell you were listening. But moving forward, this is something I never want to hear any of y'all say. Hi, Joan, I'm sending you over a contract. It is not a contract. Okay? Never say, I'm preparing the contract. You're not preparing a contract. A contract is not a contract until it's a contract. You remove that word from your vocabulary when you're writing up an offer. I am preparing an offer. It becomes a contract when all negotiations are done, all initials and all signatures, and now it is a ratified contract. So to try to avoid the word, I'm preparing a contract or I'm sending you over a contract. This is not a contract, okay? I'm trying to think what else I learned from the beginning. Oh, this is a big one. Make sure you have your buyer's names correct and how they want it. So for an example, if I use in my legal name and in my legal signature, my middle name starts with F. And for whatever reason, I sign everything legally, Alice F. Limroth. I just always have. So if I'm writing an offer, my name needs to be Alice F. Limroth, because your mortgage companies, your title companies, they are taking that buyer name as the buyer name that's going to be on the deed. As however, so when I write the offer, I ask my buyer, how do you want your name on the deed? Exactly. Are you a junior? Are you a senior? What do you use your name legally? Is this going to be in a trust? Because if it's in a trust, the name of the trust exactly has to be that buyer name. Okay? So know these things before you prepare an offer. Dates. So you now know you got to have the legal names of the buyer. You have to have a closing date in order it to be a valid offer and to become a ratified contract. What do I mean by that? Let me go through a scenario. It's a home sale contingency. Okay? They have a house to sell. So you don't know when it's going to close in the offer, right? Doesn't matter. You have to make up one. So I'm going to run through this scenario. My buyer has a house on the market. We write an offer contingent on its selling with a kick-out clause of 48 hours for first right of refusal if another person comes up that doesn't have a house to sell. So I'm saying you're giving us 48 hours to get our house under contract, okay? But in that offer, since I really don't know what date they can close, I have to make up one. It can be changed, but it can't be to be determined. It's not valid. A contract to be a enforceable contract has to have a beginning and an end. So don't do to be determineds on when you can close. They already know it can be moved. You're saying in a perfect world, if I get a contract that's ratified on their house next week, in a perfect world, they would like to close by November 5th. So I'm going to write November 5th in that offer. If this gets worked out to where they want to close, these people want to close October 31st, and they want to go door to door, You go back to the listing agent of that house and you say, listen, I'd like to send over amendment to amend the day of closing. Do you think your people can be out by October 31? We'd like to do a door-to-door. Okay? I'm going to think what other innuendos that I see that mistakes on a contract. Oh, this is a big one. If they are getting a loan, please do not check prevailing rate. This is where you have a conversation with your lender and say, all right, I'm looking at this pre-approval and it says they're pre-approved to 3.25%. What is the worst case scenario for my buyers in order for them to still qualify? Because I'm going to put it in the offer. Alice, they can go up to 3.5%. So in that offer, I'm going to put, okay, they're getting a check FHA loan for this loan amount. It cannot exceed 3.5%, even though my loan letter says 3.25. Because I'm protecting them if the interest rates go crazy up to 4.5%. If I check prevailing rate, I am telling that seller that it doesn't matter what the interest rate, people, my buyers can still buy this house if I check prevailing rate. So do your due diligence as a buyer agent and don't get them stuck in something they can't even qualify for. Okay? I'm gonna think what else. Any other questions on contracts? Okay, next slide. Okay, Command and Connect. So Shalaya has been sending out the schedule. It's running every 2 weeks, guys. We are in our, I'm not sure if it restarted today or is this the second week, but it runs. So keep a look at the emails that come out. If you can commit to a 2-week Monday through Thursday from 10 to 11, please do yourself a favor and get in that class. The next restarts, thank you. The next restarts October 4th, and you must register ahead of time to get the appropriate links. So this is the week that look at your calendar, and if you can do October 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th, and then October 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th, please register. It's 10 to 11 every day and put it in your calendar and block time it. It is gonna enhance your business, I promise. You will learn the innuendos of Command and Connect. These are systems and tools of being a Keller Williams agent. Learn how to use them. In fact, I think I'm going to start again and do a refresh, and I'm probably going to commit to that October 4th in the next 2 weeks too. So you might see me on there. All right, next slide. Okay. Create your success list. So remember I said to put it in your calendar? This is your to-dos, your should-dos, your priorities, and your task. And the task should be written as observable actions, or are they written as results? Do a task that you can have a result for. All right, next. Was that it? Awesome. All right, does anybody else have any questions about anything? This is our last Ignite session.
Do you usually present closing gifts at like closing at the office, like Pike Title, or do you present them like afterwards, like meet up with them after?
Okay, so it depends. It depends what it is. If
Copying
it's,
the net and doing a cutting board.
yes, I would bring that at the closing table. I bring in a gift bag, and as soon as they've signed their last thing, I always ask the title company for me to hand them the key to their house, and it's usually in the bag with their closing gift. So I usually do it at the closing. However, one time, years ago, I had a buyer client, and I showed them probably 30 houses. And lo and behold, they found a for sale by owner. And they still wanted to pay me, but the sellers refused to pay me anything.
Oh, that sucks.
So they added my commission to the price of the house, it appraised, and they paid me my full boat. So I felt really, really bad that they financed my commission
Yeah.
for 30 years. So I went out and I bought them a $1,000 grill because I felt so bad. I really didn't bring the grill to closing, but after closing, I had my husband at the time meet us at the house. I said, I'm going to follow you to the house. I have a surprise for you. And their Weber grill was on their deck
Oh, wow.
with a big bow. But I just felt horrible that they had to pay me. But it was an agreement, and I worked my butt off for that commission, but they had to finance it. So I got them an incredible closing gift.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So it's situational, Riley, but 99 times out of 100, I bring it to the closing table. And people, listen, try unless you absolutely cannot, try to attend your own closings. It's a celebration for them. So try to be there at those closings.
They said it only takes like a
Well, again, I had a closing engineer that decided to read every single word in the closing document. I think we were there
Oh, wow.
2.5 hours. Then I've had a closing where it's their 4th or 5th house, and they're like, okay, just sign. They didn't read a thing.
Now, do you think it would be beneficial to take all of the documents and invoices and everything that I have in Dotloop for this client and then print it out, bind it, and present it at closing just for their records, or will they get a copy of that?
They don't get a copy of everything, but that is one heck of an idea. Like everything, like the receipts through the home inspections, et cetera, and make
Like
them, we have a
septic
binder.
and termite, yeah.
We have a little binder machine right here in the office with all
Yeah.
the supplies. That is a wonderful gift in
I just
itself.
didn't know if the title company did it. I
No.
know, like with this buyer, she's very hesitant, and it's her first house, so be good for her to keep for her records.
That's really a great idea and a great resource for them. Let's say they got a new HVAC and that warranty is embedded into that invoice. And now you've given them a book on their house, they can just go straight to it.
Right.
That's a great idea. Any other questions? I will say this, and I did not do it because every closing gift for me was different. If they had children, especially little ones, I brought little closing gifts for them too, for their new rooms. So if I knew that the little girl was going to have a little pink room, I had an artist in Williamsburg and I had their name made that would match their color. And I gave them a room, like a little name for behind their bed or in their room. Let me tell you, you'll never melt the heart more of a parent when you give a child a closing gift at closing. That paid me back in spades. They told
That's pretty
everybody,
cool.
they told everybody they knew. Oh, you work with Alice? Your kids get a closing gift. And mommies are all about their kids. Let me just tell you. I would get clients just because of that. That's not why I initially did it, but it worked out that way. So don't forget the little children. They love little presents. Anything else? I'm always here for you guys unless I'm out recruiting. Don't forget, you can build your profit tree by sending me leads. Make sure they pick you as their sponsor. I want y'all all to be successful. And I think you will. I think you've gotten a lot out of this. We have if you missed a session, you can always go back. Shalaya sends those emails and you can just click on the session. You wake up at 2 in the morning and you just need something to put you back to sleep. Just click on an Ignite session. That was a funny. All right, guys. If y'all don't have anything else for me, make sure y'all are block timing. You want me to be an accountability partner for anything, let me know. If you want to role play with me, let me know. We'll schedule it. We'll put it on our calendar. Okay?
All righty.
Take care.
All right, y'all have the best week ever.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, you
Bye.
too.
Thank you.